Hi!
Hi.
This is Sibling Energy. The only thing sibling about it is the energy. We're not just, again, we're not really siblings. I know we play them on TV. But
we're not siblings, we just play them on YouTube. I'm Mckenzie.
I'm Tim.
And this is episode 4 of Sibling Energy.
And I'm a youngest.
And I'm an oldest. We made merch, y'all. I made merch.
You made merch.
I made merch.
Neither of us made anything. I knit my t-shirt. No.
Yeah, so we made these shirts. There is oldest, youngest, middle, and only available. In addition, we have other shirts. We have this design, which, you know what, you're not going to be able to see it, so I'll just put a picture of it up in the middle.
Oh, well,
this one.
Maybe you can see this one.
That's our logo.
And
this is also our logo. So there's a few for you to choose from if you want to rep the pod.
There it is.
And I forgot to mention this before we started, LOL. But we're going to do a giveaway for a t-shirt of your choosing. So all you have to do is leave us a comment telling us what you're knitting on and if it is an oldest, youngest, middle, or only pattern.
I think that's probably, yeah.
Like, what vibe does your pattern have?
Yeah.
It could be a cusp.
It can be a cusp. It can be a youngest with oldest tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
It can be an only with youngest tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
It can be straight up
a step
middle.
sibling.
Could be a step sibling.
Yeah. So let us know what you're making, and we will randomly choose one of the comments for the next episode and send along a shirt of your choosing and size.
Yeah.
With that. So, hi, welcome.
Hello, welcome. Hello. Welcome.
What are you knitting, Tim?
I got bitten by a bug. Well, here's the thing. I was looking up this really great pattern that I saw on Instagram by a designer called Lisandre, but it was for the Olympics, the French team in Paris this year. And it has a rooster on it, and it's in the red, white, and blue, the flag colors of France, and it was really cute, and I kind of wanted to make them. But then I got looking at her other things. I couldn't find it because it's not ready yet. The pattern's not ready yet.
It's not out.
So I was just like, oh, I can't wait to make these. And turns out I really can't wait. So I found another one of her patterns. It's really cute. And it's called the Coloid sock. And it's just like a 3x1 rib. But there's 3 stripes. And I've been wearing boots or like hikers or something with shorts this summer because I work in a warehouse and also
it's a look.
It's comfortable in my feet. And I want some like cute little socks. So I got the bite. It happens once the last pair I made was in 2021.
Every 3 years.
Every 3 years.
You knit a 3x1 sock with 3 colors.
That's
stripes.
right. Every 3 years, down in the hollow comes a sock pattern. Yeah, no, it's really cute. It's easy, it's straightforward. It's pretty satisfying to knit with little needles.
Every
once in a while. Yeah. But obviously I have another project that has bigger needles and needs some attention. But this one is tiding me over.
It's good
really
podcast
well.
knitting.
Exactly. So with the yarn, I decided to use. I have Les Garçons had a sock.
Is that their yak or just
no? It's just
super wash merino.
Yeah, it's a superwash merino, and it's this really great green color that I loved, and it was in my stash for a while. We used to have them, and then I found these 3 minis that I'd gotten in Montreal, well, west of Montreal at the Festival Twist, and it's Emily et Philomène, and she's a great dyer. She's really sweet and kind, and I love her colors. They're kind of muted and tonal, but I had gotten a lot of the minis there, and they just lived in my stash, so I figured this is the perfect project. French designer, French Canadian sock.
They really kind
weight,
of coordinate with your
yarns.
t-shirt.
Oh, they do?
No, not that one. That one.
Oh, they do? I'm really bad at this.
No, it does, right?
It goes with this one, too. I kind of
Yeah,
like
it
it with
does.
this. Anyway. Yeah.
Yep.
What are you working on?
I am truly on the last, 2 rows of my tea that I've been working on.
Yes.
Everything else is done. So I need to finish it, bind off, and then seam it down, and then block it. I'm so excited.
It's really how good it is.
Gross. It's gross good.
It's gross
Yeah,
so
no,
good.
Yeah.
Duh.
So I'm so close. I knit a lot while watching the new season of Bridgerton this morning. It was so good. I can't wait for
This
you to
girl
watch
wakes
it.
up at 7:30 with a text. I was like, why is my phone going off? I look, it's Mckenzie.
I'm watching Bridgerton!
You're like, this is really delivering. I'm like, okay, well, why are you awake and watching the television? I'm trying to wake up.
I
fine.
literally had 2 breakfasts today because I woke up so early.
Breakfast is the best meal.
Yes, breakfast food is the best food.
Yeah.
Ugh, brilliant.
I love
Eggs.
when you go to a restaurant and they're like, serving breakfast all day. Immediately
Bless.
everything is like, okay, well, I guess I'll get French toast and an egg and extra crispy bacon.
I don't know why we woke up so early this morning, actually. Kay and I both were awake at, before 6.
What time does Kay wake up for work?
Usually 6:30. I don't know why. We were both just, up.
Huh.
But it's so nice, especially during the summer, because the sun is, out at that point. It's, bright. You're like, I'm greeting the day.
Yeah, that's good.
So we made some roasted potatoes and eggs, which is a very usual breakfast for us.
Roasting potatoes?
Yeah.
Doesn't that take a while?
20 minutes. We have a little, toaster oven, so
Oh,
we just, cut them up.
cute.
And I also I've talked about this seasoning. I know this is ridiculous.
I was going to say, what do you season it with?
But, my bestie Molly
Yep.
introduced me to this amazing seasoning that her parents started buying in the 80s from a culinary school in Louisiana.
Sweet.
And so when I visited her last year, she was like, she's made me the best potatoes of my life. And so I don't make them exactly like she makes them because that does take a little bit longer, but we roast potatoes pretty frequently, and I just put that on it, and it's so good.
Let me ask you this, do you parboil them first?
No, for quick in the morning, no.
Okay.
If I'm doing Molly's method,
I was going to say, does Molly parboil?
you peel the potato, dice it, put it in a glass measuring cup, and microwave it until it's soft, cooked through kind of.
So like a baked potato?
No, because they're diced and peeled. So they're little naked cubes.
Yeah.
And then you basically microwave them until they're soft. And then you heat up a pan super hot with oil. You can do onions if you want.
Preheat it.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you have to pat dry the potatoes, of course, and then you put them in, and they're the perfect.
And when they hit the pan, it's like
perfect home fries, especially with that seasoning.
Also the crisp that you get from that.
Yeah, so she credits that to her partner Scott, so they are technically Scott's potato recipe. But Molly taught it to me.
So they're Scottish.
They're Scott, Molly.
They're Scottish.
Oh, God.
I'll see my way out of my own apartment.
Yeah, so anyway, I have talked about those on my channel before, but if you are new here, welcome to the Molly potatoes.
What do you dip them in anything?
No, you just put that freaking seasoning on it.
What's
and
in the
it's
seasoning?
so good. I will look it up. I will tell you what it is because I buy it. I bought it for everyone's Christmas stockings this year. I put it in Kennedy, Yaya, and Mom's Christmas stockings.
Dang. Do you use it just for potatoes?
No, I use it. It's my go-to everything. So it's Joe's Stuff. And it's from the New Orleans School of Cooking. I will put a link for it down below. I have already done this before. But so that's what we had. That was my first breakfast. That with cheesy eggs, which are just scrambled eggs with cheese. And then we went out to my favorite restaurant for breakfast with my mom and her friend. Yeah, Sweetie D.
Yeah, yum. Who'd you
And
go with?
her friend is visiting from her childhood friend Angela is visiting.
That's
so.
cute.
You also know that it is summer because the show of the summer has begun.
I'm going to blame Mckenzie for a couple of things here really quick. And it's in jest, but I'm actually like a little annoyed. Because on Saturday, we got together and hung out and like we're making bats and stuff. And it was famously Knitting in Public Day and we went to IKEA.
We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah, it was good times. But, so we're sitting there and we're doing our thing. We watched like a game show with Kay. And then she's like, do you want to watch Love Island? I was like, never wanted to watch this stupid show. And we watched it and I was, quite literally my mouth was the whole time like, what is going on? This is the downfall of humanity. This show is ridiculous.
Oh my god.
And I can't believe I'm watching it. But I guess ever since then I'm like, no, I can believe I'm watching it. It's sort of trash TV and it's inconsequential, but also the accents are really, really fun. I'm late to the game. I get it. I'm so late to the game.
Because to be clear, it's Love Island UK, not the US version. The US version ain't got shit.
That's what I hear.
UK version.
That's what I hear. But the UK though.
I know.
The accents are.
I know. It's like whale no, that was bad.
Kutch. What is Kutch? CWTCH? I'm not that ignorant, but when it comes to like, I say I'm not that ignorant. I'm like, nah, you can't do that. You can do that. No.
I'm sure all the UK people are gonna be like freaking
Sorry.
dying. But like, I didn't know who Joey Essex was.
No, me either.
And so then I had to do a deep dive into that. And he's like a total like cultural staple.
He is actually, he's a plant. He has to be a plant.
I really believe.
Well, the way he's like interviewing people is like, so who are you into? He's not into her.
No.
And he's just like interviewing her for, I don't know, it's not that, you're not that slick. No. Yeah, you got a BAFTA and that you're not that slick. Anyway.
So anyway, it's summer, and that means I'm not watching anything except Love Island with Kay.
Bridgerton.
Well, I did watch Bridgerton, and I'm going to rewatch that because it was so good.
14 times.
If you've watched it already, you know what's up. But Love Island became just like this summer staple for Kay and I, and like we watch it, and sometimes Kay gets so heated about people's decisions that I'm like, just hold your thought so I can pause it because I can't listen to you rant and them rant. And this season, we're 5 episodes in. I have never seen more pettiness, more making out in the first 5 seasons in like the 4 or 5 seasons that I've watched before this. It is absolutely out of control.
Well, isn't the goal kind of like to be a little bit, like it's for, not clickbait, but it's kind of like that idea of like, they're doing crazy things, so the crazier it is, the more watchers, the more viewers, and like, so they just start making out with each other?
I mean, I think so, and like, people are just, I don't know, man, people are just so earnest, it's very confusing.
I know. It gets me when they start crying, because they like, my heart is like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're crying and they've known people for 24 hours. I'm like, you were paired up with this person based on literally nothing.
Nothing but their face, their body, their looks. Like, it's
they're like, I can't believe he's gone. He's mugged me off. I'm like, girl.
He didn't choose me, such a dickhead. Oh, okay.
I'm like, you've known each other for 2 days. And to be fair, I always remind Kay of this. I'm like, 1, it hurts to be rejected.
Anytime. With whatever.
It doesn't matter how long you've known someone.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how vulnerable you've been with them. It hurts to be rejected.
Yeah.
And that's going to make people act kind of crazy.
Yes.
2, when you're dating someone and starting to date someone in the real world.
Right.
You go on a date, maybe don't see them for a couple of days. Go on another date, maybe don't see them for a couple of days. And like in 2 weeks, how much time have you really spent with someone you've just started dating? Not very much time.
No.
In there, they're with each other 24/7.
That's true.
You know, and they don't have anything to distract them. They can't listen to music. They can't watch
Also, when
TV.
do they eat? I had that thought last night.
They cut. So when they go get ready, they So, they're like in the morning, they do their own breakfast, and then they cut to lunch where they separate the boys and the girls and don't let anyone talk about the show because they don't want any basically things to progress without the cameras on.
Oh.
And then they get back together in the evening.
Yeah.
So they're really like separated and told to be quiet during that time.
Do you know who I'm thinking about? The cameramen. The camera people. The fact that Ian was like, and Donnie, the cameraman, hasn't slept a wink. And it's just like, what? Leave him alone.
I'm just thinking, so they have all of those cameras like hidden not really, they're not very well hidden.
Sure.
But there's cameras all over, and people have to be watching each camera to follow like the progression of people.
God, that's tiring.
Like when I actually
really
sit
fun.
and think about the production, I'm like, it's like, I understand why people, I understand why they won a BAFTA. Like, it's fucking insane.
It's also really fun to, imagine doing that. I don't think I would mind that. No, I would be knitting the whole time, though.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, she's a hot mess.
But I know, that's what I would be doing. But they can't do anything except put suntan lotion on, talk to each other, and sunbathe.
There's no games, there's no, they have their, pettiness, but...
Right, but, you just are sitting there all day. I was like, I would need my knitting.
Boring. Yeah,
give me my knitting. I can still talk and knit.
I know. What are they... And you see, one of the guys, Kieran was, doing push-ups, and I'm like...
Did you see him doing push-ups with a resistance band?
I did. I was like, I had so many thoughts. I was just like, what have I become? Why am I watching this right now? No shade to anyone who watches it and loves it. I'm just like, I feel so dirty after watching this. Just like, oh, okay, maybe.
Kay went, I didn't know people made push-ups harder.
It's true.
Oh my god.
I'm going to say this. So the sock asked you to start with a 1.5, and I'm glad I did because it fits really nicely where I want it to fit on my lower calf.
Oh, where's my 1.5?
No, I need it for the second one.
Okay.
Famously, we make 2 socks. But I went down to the one, and it's like, why does it look cleaner?
Because it's a tighter gauge.
I know, but it's so,
I'm mad for no reason.
Because
it's a tighter gauge, Tim.
Okay.
Your couch is so deep.
Yeah, it is. I just sink
like,
into it. If I don't get up every once in a while and walk around, I'm gonna my back starts.
Yeah, totally.
So there was a picture we went to. Kay had an improv show.
Mm.
Hey everyone, we went to an improv show the other night. Kay did the Gauntlet, it's called, and it was really fun. And Mckenzie was wearing this cute cow print dress, and then has her little bag, little granny square bag, and a little thing on the end of it. It is a chicken head, right?
No, it's like a little shrimp tempura.
It's fully a chicken head. When you wear it with that across your front, I was like, Mckenzie, why are you holding a chicken now? And it looked just like it was. And
I was wearing a cow print dress, so I really
great. You leaned into the farmer like Joanna.
It was unintentional.
It was cute.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a happy little moment.
It was very funny.
But if we're going there.
Going where?
I guess we should probably talk about chickens. Emotional support chickens.
Oh, I was like, because you already talked about your cock socks, so.
No.
You're so
rooster. So the rooster sock, but the emotional support chicken.
I guess this is just the chicken episode.
Don't be a chicken. Wait, wasn't there commercials about that in the 80s or 90s? Oh. Don't do drugs. Are you a chicken? I'm not a chicken, you're a turkey. If you remember that, you better say so. I'm not a chicken, you're a turkey. Don't do drugs. Dare to keep the kids up. Those are 2 separate things. But.
Okay. Emotional
I want to know your feelings on the emotional support chicken.
I don't know. I wouldn't make one.
No, I don't think I would either. If I did, I would not announce it, and I would give it to someone outside of
Knitting World?
Knitting World as a joke. And it would be like neon and obnoxious. And
okay.
But the whole thing is like, to me, obviously we're talking about it right now, so...
Yeah, I mean, it's
a lot of people like it.
I mean, you could call it a fad, or you could call it an epidemic.
Not bird flu, knitting bird flu, emotional chicken pox. It's emotional chicken pox. There is a new epidemic, emotional chicken pox. This can't be my microphone. Brought to you by Pfizer. I don't know.
What?
Emotional chicken pox. I do think that it is silly, and something, it just like strikes the chord with many people, and no shade to you if it has. It does feel like a fad, but...
It is a fad. There's always knitting trends.
Yes.
And I think it's a stuffy that's easy to make.
Yeah. And the construction's interesting. Yeah.
Scrap yarn.
Yeah.
And...
I lost my thought. I blame it on the chicken. Do you make stuffies?
No, I think haven't we talked about this, that I made 2 stuffies and they both looked very phallic?
Oh, we did. Yes, we did. The only stuffy that I don't regret making, the one is the lamb.
Oh yeah.
The Pearl Soho sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so cute. And it's chunky. I used like really chunky brown sheep. Oh, take a deep breath. Drop stitch. Disaster averted. But there's bobbles on it.
We've
it's made
already
out of
had
skin
this
tags.
conversation.
Did we?
Yeah, we have.
I don't think we did.
Yeah, we did, I promise.
No, because I put it in the notes.
I'm gonna go find it in the previous episode and just like...
Do it! Cut and paste. Do a little cut and paste moment. You can prove me wrong. I'm okay if you're wrong.
Yeah.
Where's my phone?
Where's my phone?
Where's my phone?
Where's my phone?
What kind of bind off are you going to use on that, actually?
So this one's cool because you fold it over. So you do... This is definitely oldest behavior, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you get to the point where you want the edge, you knit 3/4 of an inch, and then you switch to a smaller needle, knit another 3/4 of an inch.
Okay.
And then you bind off loosely, and then you fold it over and sew it down.
So you don't have like a purl ridge or anything?
No.
Okay.
So it's meticulous.
It's cute detail though.
It looks good. I'm very excited to block it because I think it's going to really change it.
So you don't actually bind off the stitches? You just
No, you do bind them off.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I bind off for this, I think it's called the Icelandic Bindoff. The like knit 2 together, slip it over onto the left needle, knit 2 together, slip it over.
Yes.
That's what I've been doing, and it's working pretty well.
It's pretty stretchy.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's what I'm doing.
And you said the Icelandic Bindoff is an oldest?
Well, I think the whole process of finishing the edge is oldest for sure.
Yep.
I don't know what Icelandic is. Pretty easy, reliable, stretchy.
Yeah, I think it's one of the first ones. No, that's false.
It's not one of the first ones I learned.
The first one was the basic one. So like
knit one,
another
slip
one,
it.
slip it over. That's the workhorse. That is. I think it's middle.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like
reliable,
underappreciated, looked over.
Yeah. Sorry, middles.
No, not sorry. We are sorry, I guess.
Defend yourselves.
Defend yourself. What about sewn bind off? Oldest. Really?
It's kind of extra.
It is real. It is like.
And it's fiddly.
Okay.
Don't you think?
It is. Here's the problem. I love a sewn Bindoff.
Yeah, there are onlys that you love.
It's annoying because you have to get like
a million. Yeah, and then you're like pulling it through, and it doesn't work for every yarn, so it's finicky.
It'll like twist up and yeah.
So, you see what I mean?
I do. I think I get that now. Yeah.
Okay,
I can see that. I'm gonna say that who's stretchy? There's usually like a name to it, and I forgot what it is. But the stretchy one, I think, is it's probably youngest. Because it's like the best. Makes your life easier. And it's a surprise. I was a surprise. Did you know that?
I mean, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. They were like, I came out and I said, surprise, you got the best child now. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's, here I am.
The only C-section.
I mean, I'll have to double check with my mom, but.
I love that you said that so confidently yesterday, and
I
now
did.
on camera you're like, I don't.
I know.
You're like, I don't know.
I'm like, Ma.
This is too serious.
Hey, Ma. Is that what happened? I don't know.
Stella,
what happened?
help, SOS.
Help.
What's your favorite Bindoff?
I mean, yeah, probably the one that's the easy one. Or my favorite one is the Bindoff when they say Bindoff in pattern. I do like that. If it's like knit two or this like, oh no, that'll be Toad. That'll be grafted.
Kitchener.
I love grafting.
I love Kitchener. I sort of like the way that I have memorized Kitchener is by kind of singing it.
It is.
In my
It's
head.
a song.
I'm like, pearl, knit, pearl.
It is.
Pearl,
it's
knit.
Knit one, pearl one, pearl one, knit one.
Yeah.
It's just like a little
Yeah.
rhyme. And you can see it when it's happening. Knit one, take it off. Pearl one, leave it on. Pearl one, take it off. Knit one, leave it on. And you've seen the little like keychains?
Yeah.
They have the like, yeah.
Yeah, like Trinkles makes some.
Cute.
Yeah.
And they're helpful.
Yeah.
Helpful.
So, oldest. What about provisional cast-ons and bind-offs? Or tubular, I guess. I'm sorry.
Tubular?
What about tubular bind-offs? How do you feel about those?
I do love a tubular Bindoff. I will roll my eyes when I read it. The moment I see it, I'm like, tubular Bindoff. So annoying. So maybe it is kind of, well, I wouldn't say that it's...
Youngest?
It is kind of youngest. I don't know, but it's so good.
It's just very attention-seeking.
It like needs a lot of focus. You have to focus. Because there's famously two rows before you can even bind off.
Uh-huh.
Right?
And then you have two other kids being like, Mom!
No!
Mom!
Hold on. I'm trying to sew off my bind off. Whatever the hell. Jeez.
Mom!
Mom, Timmy's looking at me. Ugh. If you kids don't shut up.
I will never bind off this sweater.
My sainted mother. Jeez.
Okay, so I would like to go on the record and say that I was wrong about combination knitting.
Okay.
So what combination knitting is, according to my Instagram poll, although I was not the only one confused, okay, is when you wrap your yarn like the wrong way around the needle, and then you sort of amend it when you come back so that your stitches are not twisted. I thought that it was actual style of how you hold the yarn, like a combination of continental and not continental. What is a continental? What? English.
So, yeah.
But that like has nothing to do with combination knitting.
No, so I would go like that, and then correct it on the way back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So who knew? I didn't know.
I did.
You did. But other people didn't know. So I'm telling you, that's what it means.
And it is, did we decide what it was? Like oldest, middle, youngest?
No,
only?
but that's on my notes, is to categorize continental, English.
Okay.
I guess combination is sort of part of that.
We haven't talked about it.
Portuguese.
Oh.
Philip, I love you.
Philip, much love.
That's
Portuguese
only behavior.
is only behavior. It's only behavior.
If you're not in Portugal or Brazil, it's only behavior. So many kisses.
How do I let me just put this through my shirt so I can put my yarn through my shirt. And then, well, I have enough holes in this shirt so I can Portuguese knit. If I need an extra tool to knit, to hold my tension, the good Lord gave us 2 hands. That's all we need. I'm off my rocker, probably.
And I mean that so lovingly.
Yes,
Like,
because it is cool when you see someone doing that.
yeah, you're like, wow, what's going on? Like,
There's a little clip or like a something or other, and it's around your neck. And I love that there are so many different styles of knitting.
mm-hmm.
That is the geekery of it all. Is like everyone's got a different way of doing it throughout history, and then we have today,
Mm-hmm.
which people are discovering new things all the time.
The more you know.
The more.
Like,
So then.
so how do you knit? You knit
I throw.
English.
Yeah, I'm English.
I started off as English.
Yep.
And then now I'm continental.
Okay. What was that journey like for you in trading? Why did you decide to do that?
Because I was such a... Well, I didn't know that switching to continental would make me a looser knitter.
Mm-hmm.
But it did, and that was a good thing because I was getting some, like, pain in my hand because of how tight I knit.
Sure.
You know. And so I switched to continental. Basically, I was just like, I'm going to practice. It was not an overnight thing. It was, like, a gradual transition.
Yeah.
And I remember in college, I was like, I very rarely had a day off in college. I worked a couple jobs. I was just very busy.
Doing a lot, yeah.
And so one day I had a day off, and I was like, I just want to knit. And I'm going to sit in my bed, and I'm going to practice continental. So I sat all day just practicing it, trying to get my tension. The next morning, I woke up, and I raised my arms, which is not even something that I do frequently, but I raised my arms over my head to stretch, and a muscle, like under my shoulder blade, just fucking seized.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh my god, and my tears in my eyes because it hurt so bad. And I had a roommate that lived downstairs in the house I lived in, and so I sort of teetered, and she was taking a massage class or something. And I was in tears, and I was like, oh my god, can you help me? I don't know what happened. I raised my arm, and I got a knot. And she kind of just felt it, and she was like, oh shit. I can feel the knot. Yeah, because I was just doing a new motion for hours one day, and then the muscle just wasn't used to it, and it just seized up. So that was my worst knitting injury.
Well, the lesson is
moderation.
Why fix it if
it ain't broken? I'm everything in moderation. Why fix it if it ain't broken?
Why you gotta change it? No, that makes sense. I mean,
that was the youngest response, I think.
I mean, well.
So ever since then, I've transitioned to continental. I do knit with both hands
for
color work.
Yeah, same.
I always keep the left hand as my top tension, looser tension.
Mm-hmm. It feels good.
Yeah.
And it keeps it really nice and even.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good way to, I mean, clearly not the only way to tension your color work, but it's worked best for me. I think I learned to throw and then never really wanted, I tried continental because I'd heard, and I have such issue with this, I've heard people say, oh, continental's so much faster.
Yeah.
Or even, we'll go here later, but the crocheting is faster than knitting. And it's I want to believe that. And I know your point. I get it. And I'm saying this because I do crochet and I love it. It's wonderful. But for me, it's not faster, crocheting. And continental isn't faster for me. it's slower. But that's because I've been doing English for so long that it's like, so when someone comes, they're like, oh, why don't you try this way? I think my aunt tried to teach me. My aunt was continental, and she was a speed machine. We couldn't see her hands. She would just go, brrr, and she's talking to you. She had 8 kids, but she was like, brrr, talking to you.
Yeah, she had to knit 8 sweaters.
She had 8 sweaters, and it was to keep those kids warm. It was like, dang. Yeah, nothing fancy. You're getting a blue sweater. You're getting a red one. Aunt Terry. Gotta love. Yeah, and I was teaching my sister to knit, Wendy, my oldest sister, and I sat down with her. I showed her throwing, just because that's what I knew. And she looked at me and she's like, well, why wouldn't I just do this? This makes sense to me. She put it in her left hand. She started knitting continental, and I was like, okay. And in that moment, I was very excited because it is really just intuition, I think. Whatever feels like comfortable for your hands.
Well, and even if you're not absorbing what someone next to you is doing consciously,
right?
Like, you are kind of absorbing it,
right?
So yeah,
it's wild to see. Yeah, it does make sense to do this and pick it up, but then my tension's all different. And purling continental is the most. But
that's why you Norwegian purl.
I know, that's the most, because you have to go.
No. Look at that. Look at this.
I know, that's what I do, but it's just so extra. You have to move your finger.
Oh, I hate you, like, just watching YouTube videos or the Norwegian purl.
And because this gives me so much, like, I'm better than you vibes. It makes me so mad. I'm like, no, we get it, you're a continental knitter. It's fine, it's not better than
we
throwing.
We get it, you're a continental knitter.
Throw it over your shoulder like a continental soldier. Jeez. Yeah. No, I think it's stuff I have to work through in therapy, if I'm being honest. Like, no, your way isn't better, it's just different.
Oh my god.
But respect to everyone's style of knitting. It is just knitting at the end of the day. You're making a garment. The more you know. Wing.
But we didn't categorize them.
Oh, okay. So let's go.
I want you to... Continental.
Continental, to me, is oldest. Because it is the argument of like, well, this is the way it was done originally. This is how it's always been done. Mom and Dad said that I was the first one. Yeah, you were the experiment. We get it. That's fine.
You were the first pancake.
First pancake. First crepe. Whatever. I think middle child. I think middle child is probably just English throwing.
Or a combination of the two?
Yeah, or a combination of the two. Because it's like pretty easygoing, keeping balance. I think Portuguese is only. We've solidified that. And I don't know, what's the...
Youngest? Is
I
flicking?
think youngest is probably... flicking.
Maybe middle is English. And youngest is a combination. Because you are nothing if not an amalgamation of everything.
There's like chaos a little bit to it. And
yeah,
I think so.
You like just figured it out.
Yeah. I also do think combination knitting is fun, but there's something to it that's like, see, my ribbing's tighter, because I do a combination. Oh, okay, cool.
The lawyer oldest.
The lawyer oldest.
I love her. I mean, I hate her, but I love her.
I love her too. I think she's great and needed.
Yeah.
Definitely see where she's needed. But when you come for me, as a youngest, we're gonna have a moment.
No.
I'm the least violent person. I'm all talk, really.
Like a youngest ought to be.
Like a youngest ought to be. That's right. It's totally true.
Oh, I thought this was funny. Someone brought up using a proper stitch marker versus grabbing any random object as a stitch marker.
Just put this away for a minute. Look at my knitting. Here's the thing though, if you, listen, I don't have time to like carry around, I don't care if it's a solid stitch marker, I don't care if it's made of metal and brass or plastic, it's already pre-formed. I just need something to tell me where my beginning of round is that too much? So, if I happen, what's the one thing you always have with you? Yarn. Yarn. Or a rubber band. That's been desperation. That has been a desperate moment. I was on the train to the city one time and I was like, and I had a rubber band in my bag. Because what am I going to make? A stitch marker out of the same color? You knit it into
you can't do that.
Awful. Then you end up with a picked up stitch. But, yeah, I make stitch markers with extra yarn.
I do like a proper stitch marker.
Uh-huh.
And there was a point when there was like kind of like a free bin of yarn, goodies, accessories. And I got this little kit of different colored removable stitch markers, the little safety pins.
Yep.
And so I was like, oh, this is great. This is like $1 million. I'll never need any ever again. So I dumped them because I didn't like the case, like carrying it around. I dumped them all into a little container and I was like, great. So I started using them and I'm like, the plastic is too stiff. I am spoiled by Clover, like the green and orange ones.
What plastic ones were they?
I think we're probably from Amazon. I don't know.
Okay.
And so I was like so annoyed by them that I went through and picked out all of the ones that were not orange and green and I put them in the free pile.
I think I did.
No, I think
where I got these, but
I think maybe that was in Boston. No, maybe not. I think it was in Boston that this happened.
I decided to, because there was a pack like that.
I love
and they were just in a little free basket, and I was like, I'll try them. And I like them. I do like them. There's moments where you really do need like the closing and opening ones.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But if I don't have them, I've now graduated to a bag. I don't always make my stitch markers anymore. Because you just
sometimes you don't need them, whatever.
Yeah. Yep.
But I like them, and then I started buying progress keepers.
What's that?
It's like the ones with the little clip, like it's like a crochet.
I have never used those in my entire damn life.
I love them. I'm like, yeah, I want to bling out my knitting.
It's oldest.
Yeah, I think it is. I will
and probably a little
concede
lonely
to
too.
that.
I'm gonna say that.
I'll concede to that.
The one that's like, make one right.
Oh, I
make one left. I was like, what is this? The
I
cha-cha slide? I don't need this.
I actually think that for beginning knitters that could be helpful.
It absolutely. Yes, you should mark your front.
For me,
it's not for me.
It's not for me.
That
good for her.
Good for her. Not for me.
So
here's the thing. Making stitch markers with yarn is youngest. I get it. It's chaos. It's chaotic. And then you end up, then I save them. That's the stupidest thing. I save them. Once I'm done,
the little pieces of wool.
I'll be like, this was a good stitch marker.
No.
It's hoarding behavior. I understand. But I have used one
is that what's down there on the ground?
Probably. No. Oh no, but there's been a time too when you're like, oh, I'm wearing Frid Jeans and I have nothing else. I'd pull it out and make a stitch marker. Listen, it's resourceful. It's nothing if not resourceful.
It is. If it's nothing, it is unhinged.
Listen, I needed one, I got one.
Unhinged behavior. God. Frid Jeans.
Frid Jeans. Get a little bit of denim from it.
Oh my god.
See what happens.
That's out of control.
That is funny though, or when people like leave them everywhere. You just they get lost. Obviously they're gonna get lost in your couch or whatever. But if they're made out of yarn, they're less likely to fall because there's not a lot of weight on them. Also, I have a preference of the way you tie them. When you make your yarn stitch markers, I will do like a little loop like key knot like that, but that ends up coming out when you slip it after a while. Now you have to wrap it around the needle and do a square knot with it, and it stays. That's when I'm like, there's a hierarchy of...
There's a hierarchy of scrap stitch markers. Okay, next subject.
I appreciate all of the scrap.
I did also, there was a great comment that I wanted to read, okay?
What?
So we were talking about the different ways to knit socks. Okay.
Okay.
And we had said and circular needles. So we were talking about knitting socks and circular needles.
Yes.
So Wildflower Magic Knits commented, 9-inch circs are oldest for sure.
Yeah.
Very neat and tidy and compact without a bunch of excess cord flopping around. I feel like it's a trope that oldest are the shortest siblings. I was like, okay.
But I don't think you're wrong.
And then agreed that 24 is middle, and I also think 60-inch is middle because they're useful for very specific things,
Yes.
but rarely used and often overlooked.
They are overlooked. I agree.
32 is youngest. Seems to be the favorite even when other sizes would be better suited to the job at hand.
Uh-huh.
DPNs are only because they need 4 to 5 needles to be a set, and that feels very only child to me.
Agreed.
Flexi flips are cousins.
That's funny.
I was like,
Flexi flips.
brilliant.
Cousins.
That was a good one. That made me laugh.
That
And
is
then
rich.
someone said 2 at a time socks and sleeves to me have middle energy. This is M77755. Clever and underappreciated. Functional, but a little chaotic.
I want to talk about the word clever in that comment. Is it clever to do 2 at a time?
I think it's impatient.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. One man's impatient is another one man. One person's. I think. That is fascinating. I would adjust some of those.
I thought that comment was really great.
The comment is thoughtful as hell.
Yeah.
It was well planned out. I will pick a fight. No, I'm just kidding. Again.
Yeah, it was
fine.
very good.
That's really good.
And then someone else was asking about like gift knitting for other people versus knitting for yourself, which I thought would be an interesting topic because you famously.
I love knitting for other people.
Yeah, like I would say 90% of your projects are not for you.
Yeah, because it's fun. Because other people don't knit. Some people just don't want to do it. And I'm like, come to the party though.
Mm-hmm.
And I realize you don't want to be at the party. But that's okay. You can be at the party by wearing a hand knit. Yeah, it's fun. Inclusivity in that way is like... But also it's really nice to like think about someone when you're making it. And like, oh, these are going to keep someone warm and... Yeah, I don't know. It's nice. I also have started knitting a few things for myself. I think my philosophy too is like I can only have so many hats. I love hats. And that's why I have a lot. But I can only have so many. Only have so many hats. You can only have so many scarves, cowls, and I think sweaters for myself. But that's because I run hot.
Yeah.
So.
Cool,
bro. Hey man, I like your engine. It's real loud or whatever. No. That part when people do. Anyway.
I feel like about 50% of the things I make are for other people.
Yeah.
And
Gift knitting.
And it took me a long time to get to the point where it's like I have enough things that I'm cool giving up some of my knitting time for other people.
Sure.
So there's that.
And I also don't want it to sound like I'm virtue signaling, because if you want to knit all the sweaters you want for yourself, please do. Wear all of the sweaters.
And don't apologize for it.
Don't apologize for it.
Knit for yourself.
The point is, you're doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And that's the best.
Yeah. And, like, so it's a lot, like, to knit for someone else. We don't have to tell people that.
No, yeah.
You know, and so when I started being like, no, I want to knit Christmas gifts. Like, I want to knit for my family.
Yeah.
I've talked about this before, so sorry if I'm repeating myself. But what I do with my, like, immediate family, Kay, my mom, Yaya, and Kennedy, is I, like, sort of at a point was, like, putting their names in a hat and was, like, picking it out and being like, okay, this person gets a sweater this year, or just something knit, and then we would discuss.
Yeah.
So I knit Kennedy an Andrea Mowry sweater, I knit my mom a cabled sweater, I've knit Yaya a little ripple tee, I've knit shawls, you know, so that's worked well historically, but yeah, I felt like I wanted more to knit for them. And then I'll go through phases where I'm like, I haven't knit anything for myself.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, nope, it's selfish knitting season.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Do you think it depends on that or, like, the project? Because, like, you saw this and was like,
I mean,
want that.
Sometimes I'm very, like, I'll make my queue and I go through the queue.
Yep.
Like, I buy the yarn, I, like, have it set up, and then other times I'm just, like, on a whim, like, no, I want that. It just depends on the day.
Yeah, it's true.
It just depends on the day.
I think that's pretty true. I don't know why I'm making socks. One time I made socks for my sister. Well, here's the deal. I wanted to make houndstooth socks. And I had this yarn, and it was like Lang Javol, whatever it's called. And it was teal and lime green, or like a light lime green. And I was like, oh, these would be great houndstooth socks. And I was knitting them. And then halfway through, Katie was like, oh, I love those. I like those. I was like, all right, I'm going to make them for you. And then I gave them to her, and she was like, Timmy, I like those socks. I want another pair. I was like, Katie, just please. I just found the remnants of that in my stash. That was at least 15 years ago. Well.
What's the oldest thing in your stash?
Oh no. 2000. Nope. 1998.
When I was 6.
When I turned, oh, thank you. Very kind of you. Thinking I'm so young and sprightly. No, I just said you had old yarn, Tim. No.
I'm the Trixie in this relationship.
My brain immediately went to Trixie Belden because I'm looking at the Hardy Boys books over there, and I'm like, Trixie Belden, golly, I love it.
No.
Aw.
Trixie Mattel.
Trixie and Katya, yes. Trixie and Katya. Gotcha.
So funny.
I'm hungry.
I am too.
But I think that's all of it. Is the next one we're doing in Albany? So Mckenzie is selling her stuff, her yarn, and or stickers and or cards and designs and blah blah blah, all of the things at Black Sheep Wool Gathering.
Black Sheep Gathering
in Albany. I'm a New Yorker. Albany, Oregon. Albany.
It's about an hour south of Portland.
Yeah, it's below Salem.
Skip and a jump, yeah.
Like between Salem and Corvallis, or Salem and...
Yeah, Corvallis.
Eugene, I guess. So that's fun. We're going to do a little moment there. And it will be the day after my birthday. So this is the last time I'm going to be 40. Wow. Can't believe it. I feel so young. Yeah, but we'll be coming to you from there, and we will possibly have a special guest, and we may be talking, it'll be mostly knitting, but maybe the highlight on the mostly.
Maybe also talking about traveling. Maybe a little bit. Just a little bit. We've been ideating. It's fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be
But
good.
it's gonna be fun.
I'm
Come
so
visit.
excited.
I think Tim will be hanging out in my booth on Friday.
So we're gonna come down Friday. My friend Emily and I are gonna come down for Friday and stay over to Saturday. So I'll be in the booth Saturday,
Friday afternoon,
morning.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be hanging out. It'll be a fun time. It's a pretty chill festival, but it's very farm to fiber, lots of spinning stuff. So definitely, if you're in Portland, come say hi. And I will have some Sibling Energy stickers in the booth, so that'll be fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yay! I think that's it.
Anything else?
Remember
that we are giving away a t-shirt, so leave a comment down below about what you're working on and why it's an oldest.
And keep working on those sheep camps. And if you haven't decided what your colors of sheep camp should be, that's fine. We're doing it until the knit along goes until Labor Day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a little.
And maybe knit something you wouldn't normally. Socks. Once every 3 years.
Be a virtuous youngest. And don't forget about the sheep camp knit along, which is happening now until Labor Day. Info is linked down below.
And also don't forget about the sheep camp knit along that's happening now until Labor Day, which will be right down below in the info.
Linked.
Did you hear that? Linked. No, ED. Can we cut? Where's the production manager?
You mean erectile dysfunction? You said
The
ED.
Where's the AD? Where's the ED?
Abort, we're
The
done.
electrical.
Goodbye.
Bye. And what?
They're like, Timothy.
Timothy, what happened?
Just a little button.
Start, stop.
Yeah.